Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Brajajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Nandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Kunjabihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Astatarasatasi Simaris Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shira Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavadinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gora Premanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're continuing with Canto 10, Chapter 38, Text 26, and we'll also discuss 27. So we're still with Akrura. He's reached Vrindavan. His contemplations, reflections are not quite completed because he's going to be seeing he's going to be seeing Krishna's footprints. So I need to go back. It's text 24. Text 24. 10:38:24. Shukadev Goswami is narrating, my dear king, while the son of Shvapalka, that's Akrura's father's name, Shvapalka, while the son of Shvapalka, traveling on the road, thus meditated deeply on Sri Krishna, he reached Gokula as the sun was beginning to set. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami comments that although Akrura did not even notice the road, being deeply absorbed in meditation on Lord Krishna, he still reached Gokula on his chariot. Sounds like the horses knew their way. That's how he got there. Jiva Goswami writes, although Gokula was not far, Akrura was delayed on the way. Riding on the chariot, he arrived near the Lord when the sun was setting. There is a suggestion that the glory of Gokula, just like the sun, was covered by Sunset Mountain in capital letters. Sunset Mountain. That's a poetic image. There's Sunset Mountain. So the glory of Gokula was covered by Sunset Mountain. It was bright. We'll hear some more. Sanatan Goswami writes, since Akrura was the son of a sage, Shvapalka Tanayaha, it was suitable that he thought in this way. His name is not mentioned because he was doing this job of taking Krishna away. He rode in the chariot, or he went with the chariot, which was for Krishna to ride. It would not be proper for him to enter Vraja riding the chariot. The sun was setting. And then he quotes Harivangsha that says, the sun was setting and had gentle rays. Vishnu Purana says the sun was slightly shining. Although going from Mathura to the northwest for 13 kroshas, one comes to the edge of Braja, to Nanda's house and Nandishwara by noon. He arrived in the evening, since that was auspicious. He went slowly because he was absorbed in thinking and did not hurry the horses. Oh, king! Shukadev comforts the lamenting king. He's speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, lamenting because Krishna is going to be taken from Braja. So, oh, king. Or he himself exclaims in sorrow. Text 25. In the cowherd pasture, Akrura saw the footprints of those feet whose pure dust the rulers of all the planets in the universe hold on their crowns. Those footprints of the Lord, distinguished by such marks as the lotus, barley corn, and elephant goad, made the ground wonderfully beautiful. So this morning class is short. The commentary is not extended, but I will speak a little bit about what's going on here. Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur writes, Akrura saw Krishna's footprints, padani, marked with an elephant goad, barley corn, and thunderbolt, which brought astonishing good fortune. Kautakani, or Sa Vishmaya Saubhagyam, to the earth. Another name for earth here in this verse is Kshiti. Jiva Goswami writes, because he soon entered Krishna's area, he saw the footprints. The glory of the footprints is described. Because the foot dust destroys all contamination of samsara, or amala, it is employed on the crowns of the rulers of the planets. Question. Since he was seated on the chariot, how could he see Krishna's footprints in the evening when Gokula was getting dark, since those footprints were mixed with the footprints of many cowherds? That's a good question. Answer. Those footprints made the earth joyful. Kshiti, cow to come. The earth kept those footprints explicitly as her ornaments, and as the footprints spontaneously manifest to the eyes of the devotees. No, and the footprints spontaneously manifested to the eyes of the devotees. That was a service for the earth to show to the devotees, look, Krishna's footprints. Question: how did he recognize them as the Lord's footprints? Answer: they were specially marked, or appeared extraordinary, vilaksha nani, with the lotus and gold. And Sanatan Goswami writes, he saw Krishna's footprints in the pasture nearby outside of Braja. Soon, Krishna would leave the forest and enter the cow pastures of the village. Akrura had a rare opportunity. He saw the beautiful, pure amala dust, devoid of even the desire for liberation, which the rulers hold on their crowns for that reason. They see him from far off, that's the rulers of the universe, and offer respects with great devotion. Same question. Since he was seated on the chariot, how could he see Krishna's footprints in the evening when Gokula was getting dark, since those footprints were mixed with the footprints of many cowherds? Answer: those footprints made the earth joyful. Kshiti kautakam. The earth kept those footprints explicitly as her ornaments, and they, the footprints, spontaneously manifested to the eyes of the devotees. Little service. Question: how did he recognize them as the Lord's footprints? Answer: they were marked especially, or appeared extraordinary, vilakshanani, with the lotus and gold. Adya means it like etc. Flag, thunderbolt, and other symbols. Brahma, the protector of all the people, holds the foot dust on his crown after having received Krishna's mercy. And now he refers back to Brahma, the Mohan Lila, and after Brahma saw what Brahma saw, the verse reads 10:13:62. After seeing this, Brahma hastily got down from his swan carrier, fell down like a golden rod, and touched the lotus feet of Krishna with the tips of the 4 crowns on his head. Offering his obeisances, he bathed the feet of Krishna with tears of joy. Akrura saw the pure dust that Brahma, Shiva, and others hold on their crowns. Somehow they obtain it and worship it. It is most rare. Akrura directly saw the footprints made of that dust. He was more fortunate than the Devatas. Because they can only observe from a distance. And the exceptions, we know, a few at least. Brahma's pastime, Indra's pastime, Varuna's pastime. So some demigods get to see Krishna directly. But largely, their eligibility for observing Krishna's pastimes is from a distance. This is chapter 38. In chapter 35, very beautiful chapter. The gopis are in pairs of verses offering glorification to Krishna and Krishna's flute and so forth. And in one section, the acharyas don't say they actually went to Mother Jasoda, although she could have actually gone to Mother Jasoda. But they knew, like themselves, that Mother Jasoda was in anxiety. Krishna was late. So mothers are in anxiety when their kids are late. And this is Mother Jasoda. And she's like transcendently attached to Krishna. So they speak to Mother Jasoda, he's coming. Don't worry, he's coming. He, just before returning, went to the river Jamuna with the cowherd boys to give the cows some water to drink. While there, the cowherd boys took bath in the river Jamuna. And on their way back, the demigods, knowing that the day of herding the cows was now complete, it was calves, is now complete, they descended from the sky where they were observing Krishna's pastimes and offered their obeisances and prayers. And Krishna, being respectful, stopped to hear their prayers. And you should be grateful that the mercy of the demigods are being extended to your son. So be patient. He'll be back shortly. That there's some indication that the demigods regularly, because we hear when demons are killed and things like that, showers of flowers and musical instruments and so forth, they're singing Jai Jai. So they're observing Krishna's pastimes, but they're observing from a distance. And Akrura is not observing from a distance. There's another really important, nice verse in Brahma's prayers where he is describing the good fortune of the presiding deities of the senses. Now, a little bit of chapter 3, or canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. What are the controlling deities of the senses anyways? In the process of creation, what Brahma does, the visarga, the subcreation. As the elements are manifested, so there's, the 5 gross elements, and then the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, and the mind, that's 11. So in order for, when Brahma's putting the creation together, the elements are there, but the elements can't do anything without demigods. You need controllers of the elements, not just the elements, but controllers of the senses. The senses can't function. It's not just the organ, the eye or the ear, but it's the sense of sight and the sense of hearing. There's the power that enables the sense organ to do what it does. So supposing you replace a machine part, give the ear another ear, or give the eye another eye, or something or other. The power of the sense is controlled by the demigods. So if the demigods withdraw the power of sense, the power of hearing, the power of sight, whatever, power of taste, power of locomotion, if they withdraw that sense power, knowledge acquiring and working senses, they don't work. And they can't do their work unless Vasudev enters the picture. That's made very clear in the process of subcreation. So Brahma says, we, the presiding deities of the senses, are made most fortunate because, it's subtle, but he says, because the residents of Vrindavan they can experience Krishna's pastimes directly. They do not need our assistance. They have spiritual bodies, so they don't need demigods to oversee their spiritual senses. They can directly experience Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes, etc. But we, the demigods, we cannot. But the residents of Vrindavan are so merciful. Through their senses, we can experience what they're experiencing. They gift that capacity to us by their compassion. Anyway, it's a very interesting detail about the relationship of demigods and Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. Normally, they're remote. By the mercy of the associates of Vrindavan, the intimate associates of Krishna, the demigods get a glimpse, a glimmer, just a ray or two of what they're experiencing through their mercy. So Akrura, this particular verse, is being expressed as being more fortunate than the demigods, although the demigods place the dust from Krishna's feet upon their crowns. He is directly going to be in front of Krishna. He is seeing the footprints of Krishna marked. It's not just the footprints that indicates where he has walked, but dust from his feet. Of course, there's dust from Vrindavan, which means also dust from Krishna. So it's very special. Braj, Raj, the particles of dust or particles of sand, the particles of the land of Braja, is as transcendental as the deity of Krishna, or the name of Krishna, or the form of Krishna. So in one sense, it's an expression of humility, that is wanting the dust from the feet of Krishna. In another sense, it's getting the totality of Krishna through that very simple particle of dust. And not only the dust from Krishna's feet, but similarly the dust from the feet of the residents of Vrindavan. That's something that Brahma prays for when he's understanding the elevated position of the residents of Vrindavan. He is as high, you can't get any higher in this cosmic manifestation than Brahma. There are transcendentalists that surpass Brahma, but as far as qualification and so forth, knowledge, elevated state of consciousness, Brahma's at the very top. You can't get higher than Brahma. And Brahma is recognizing the residents of Vrindavan are higher. And one of his prayers is appealing to take birth after his life as Brahma, take birth in Braja, so he may be able to get dust from the feet of any of the residents of Braja. Dust from the feet of any of the residents of Braja. Now here in this verse, he is considering himself most fortunate because he's seeing the dust from Krishna's feet. And shortly he's going to jump off the chariot and roll around in that dust. There's a particular place, Govardhan Parikrama. I learned this from Bhakti Chaitanya Swami because having been going around Govardhan with him several times with groups of devotees, there's a certain stretch going up the western side of the lower end of Govardhan Hill where it's known that Krishna herded the calves or cows, and so those that do parikrama have a great time rolling around in the dust. like Akrura. And it's lots of fun. But it's, it's spiritually significant. And that's what is happening with Akrura. I mean, he's a pure devotee. He's not a sadhaka. He's not a pilgrim going for a visit. He's a pure devotee, and he sees Krishna's footprints because the earth wants to share that mercy with the devotees, so they, doesn't say exactly how they do that, but they make it seeable or visible to the devotees as they're passing. Here's Krishna's footprints, maybe glowing or somehow standing out. He's really eager for mercy. And when you're really eager for mercy, you get mercy. It's like that verse that we were discussing over and over again, verse 22. Like the desire trees of the heavenly planets, they're just desire trees. And if you approach the desire tree, then they give whatever you want. So Krishna's like that. And if when there's eagerness, then we receive mercy. And eagerness is a positive thing. It's not, feeling bad about yourself. Not a negative thing. He's eager for more and fresher and more complete and different eagernesses, different desires that are like flowing spontaneously from him. He's really a great personality. The chapter is worth meditating on, like reading it again and again and becoming absorbed in the mood of meeting Krishna. So let's see if there's some discussion. Looks like it's going to be a shorter class this morning.
Guru Maharaj, the eagerness for receiving mercy of Krishna, many times I stop myself and feel that I'm not qualified. There are so many reasons that come up, but from what you are mentioning today, it looks like I have to make an attempt to go beyond that and have that eagerness for receiving.
You don't go beyond humility,
Hmm.
but humility is a springboard for eagerness. They're not contradictory.
Okay.
You don't have to go beyond it. Just redirect it.
Okay.
Spiritualize it.
Yeah.
Okay. All the way in the back.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Could you tell how to recognize the mercy?
Well, in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's language, very simply, attraction for the topics of Krishna, detachment for involvement in seeking pleasure, happiness in the temporary. Anything else? Anything online? Srila Prabhupada ki